What does a mirror show you when you look into it? Does it display a genuinely nice person who follows the rules and regulations of society? Does it reflect upon the disappearing innocence as you lie to your parents and friends? Does it show a smile, crying for help because of a deeper sadness in your life? Or maybe you're just thinking about how you look like a whole snack. During my early American literature class, sophomore year, my substitute teacher often did a type of poetry of the day activity in order to further analyze a poem's structure or meaning. One day our class was given the title, "We Wear the Mask" by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Now the poem displays how we use false personas, whether the intention is to lie or perhaps for other personal issues. The poem begins with, "We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes." Raise your hand if you have ever lied before. If you're not raising your hand, you're probably lying to yourself right now. Does this not perfectly show how we typically present ourselves in front of others on a day-to-day basis? Constantly we lie, and it becomes so prominent that we forget who we are. Now, when I first read the poem, I couldn't help but think about The Mask featuring Jim Carrey. For those who haven't seen it, it's about this regular bank clerk who discovers this magical green mask, and it turns him into this vivid, spontaneous being. Now, trouble starts to stir once he robs a bank, and even more trouble is caused because the creators decided to make a sequel. But the philosophy of how and why we wear our own masks fascinated me. I laid in bed later that night thinking about how many times the people around me have lied to me. People I thought were caring and kind turned out to be the same people who backstabbed one another and gossiped behind each other's backs. It was like watching a rerun of Mean Girls as high schoolers were tearing each other apart. It was quite the spectacle to see friendships and trust ruined in just one school day. And this even applies to adults as well. Celebrities and role models that we look up to in this modern society get caught up in all of the deception, gossip, and lies. Do you guys know People magazines or US Weekly magazines? Fun fact, the covers of US Weekly are about 35% accurate. And this even applies to family as well. The amount of times I've heard a family member say something like, "Nancy, hi, how are you? How are the kids? I love what you've done with your hair." And then later saying, "Oh my God, I hate her so much. I cannot stand her." Reality or soap opera? Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. Sometimes we wear masks to hide our emotional feelings. Growing up, we question everything, from religion to education to relationships. What do I want to do with my life? Why am I still friends with this person? Oh my God, does that boy even like me? What's the meaning of life? It reminds me of this video that I saw online. It starts with this ceramic boy who wakes up all sad and depressed. He goes to his bathroom mirror and looks at himself. He takes out a mask that looks exactly like him, but with a happy smile. Then he continues on with a regular school day. This includes getting bullied in class, not talking because he's too shy and reserved, having no friends to sit with at lunch. And then he goes home and he's welcomed by the abuse of his father and the constant screaming and yelling of his parents. Later that night, he goes back into this bathroom mirror again, and he looks at himself. He takes off the mask, and what is left is cracks and missing pieces, completely broken. With all these roaming and unanswerable questions that we have in our lives, sometimes we do need a mask because we can't relay these feelings in front of other people. The problem is when we take so much time that we lose ourselves and we forget the types of people that we want to become. We smile, but O great Christ our cries, to thee our tortured souls arise. But besides using masks to cover our self-doubts, we wear multiple masks in general. If a friend gives you a terrible birthday present, you're not going to say that you hate it right in front of them. You take it politely and say thank you, and perhaps throw it out later on. But the point is that you're doing it for the sake of your friend's feelings. Likewise, you aren't going to teach someone how to shoot a basketball during Cal class or crack jokes during a funeral service. There are times and places to be informal and formal, including how you talk and present yourself. And depending on how you care about behaviors, social norms, and manners, wearing different types of masks displays how many different kinds of personalities you can create. And these masks aren't completely immoral. It's just that sometimes they take over our initial values and we forget who we are. Well, then it's easy to ask, then why can't we just be our genuine selves? We are only capable of being our true selves if we are kept in a place of pure isolation, a place where no person or thing can shape or influence you. But constantly we are surrounded by all of these influences, whether it be with parents, friends, family, education, religion, environment. It's quite impossible to say that we can escape the world and say that our true self is based upon pure personal choices. Your true self is based upon the values and morals of the people that you meet, and deciding how you want to react to certain situations comes from what you learned, which is kept in your unconscious mind. Sigmund Freud, famous philosopher, he believed that the human mind contained an unconscious and conscious part. The conscious mind contains thoughts, feelings, and ideas that are easily accessible because of our awareness of the world, while the unconscious mind contains the inaccessible knowledge that drives the behavior of our personality, such as the morals that a parent or a guardian teaches you when you're younger. So the direct answer is that none of us have a true self. Our entities are a living facade. From the day we are born, each of us are impressionable. And like said, we have this sphere of influence that molds and shapes our personality. And with this, we can see that the unconscious mind is the thing that drives our personality and behavior. We don't recall the instances of when our parents first speaks to us or teaches us how to eat or speak because they're kept in the unconscious mind. They're placed into a part of our brain that becomes the basis of how we make decisions or react. This is why lying, adapting, and conforming are all fundamental principles that travel from the conscious parts of our mind to the unconscious. Each one of us in this room is living in an inception of facades. All these influences in our lives build up to be what is called our true self and part of our human nature. Every day we continue to mold and shape our personality and our own entities to our ideal likings. Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem ends with, "We wear the mask." And we do wear the mask because it shapes us, it creates our entities, and it will leave an influence on the world to become. Wearing a mask can be ugly if you have the mindset that it's only evil, that it can suppress you from living a lifestyle you want. But good moral values, being passionate about different types of subjects, that can lead you to living a better life. Accept that each of us live in the facades of ourselves, because we indeed wear the mask. So what will you make of your mask? What will you see in your reflection? Thank you.